Tell you what, some days life just throws you curveballs, some day life throws you screwballs, and some days life just throws you a lot of lemons and you just got to make some lemonade, right? Or you got to get on the Rumble X Pro or the Plus, which I have right in front of me here, which you can't see yet, but we're getting there. I'll tell you what a day, what a day, what a day. Let me adjust this so you can actually see. Yep, I'm sitting there on a ball because that's what makes life a little more fun and interesting, right? Is having fun and finding a way to be happy. That being said, today is round two of mental health. And yes, I'm so glad to be back too. Let me tell you a little something. Here in Indiana, it is like 95 degrees, 95, 98 degrees with extreme high humidity. So my facility is like 4,000 square feet, and you've all seen it in the past. And we are running two AC units, and it's all running in interference with my Wi-Fi system. So as you heard me on the last series here just a few moments ago, we actually blew a breaker by trying to run AC so that people can have a comfortable environment to perform, which makes the stress like even worse, right? So we are now streaming live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube from my house. And so now I'm in my living room and I am downstairs where it is nice and cool. So, and we don't have to worry about Wi-Fi because I have Wi-Fi just for this floor. So we are happy that we're back, right? Okay, now let's get back to where we were at. It's Amber Kivett, and I am super proud to be the spokesperson and the leader in health and wellness for LifePro. And again, we are going to be giving away two devices today. We're going to be giving away the Rumble X Plus, if I remember right, or I should say one of our platforms. We're giving away one of our platforms. And then we are one of the Horizon Balance trainers, which you got to see in the last video, but I didn't want to carry it through my yard to where I'm at now because I wanted to get back to you like within 5 minutes. So here we are. That being said, I do have a Rumble X Plus here to demonstrate with you. So you'll get to see that here in just a little bit. As you might have seen on Tuesday when I was talking about mental health round one and how the LifePro whole body vibration platforms and the red light therapy makes a huge difference in overall mental well-being, mental health, anxiety, depression, stress hormones, happy hormones. And I have all the clinical research to show you and share with you as to how our brain changes with the use of many of the LifePro devices. Our brain is equal to 100 to 200 billion neurons, which are nerve cells, and each neuron is made up of, it makes up 1,000 different connection points on this tree-like structure called synapses. In the brain, there are 300 trillion synapses that make up all this electrical connectivity of communicating messages from one point in the control center to the extremities and beyond. There are over 1,000 activation sites for each neurotransmitter per synapse. So that is a lot of complexity in how the brain works. In perspective, there are more neurons, more nerve cells in the brain, in one human being brain, than there are people on the entire planet Earth. There are more synapses taking place in one human brain than there are all the stars in the galaxy. It's just like blah, like can't even comprehend it, right? And then when we think about how complex a computer is and how many computers are being used globally on the planet, in the universe, one human brain is more complex than all computers that are out there. So the whole point to that is trying to let you know that there are so many different things that we don't know in the medical world. There's so much uncertainty, even though we have so much science and so much data and so much research that shares what we do know, is we don't have all the answers, and it's okay to not have all the answers. That's what makes this so much fun. But I want to also give you some options, because if you are suffering from anxiety or depression or some form of autoimmune disease, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, cystic fibrosis, fibromyalgia, diabetes, there's over 80 different autoimmune conditions. And a lot of everything that we suffer from, including our hormone regulation in the brain, comes back to how complex the brain is, as well as how complex the system of connection points in the human body, referred to as fascia. Fascia is made up of collagen and elastin and this material that holds us together like glue. And sometimes that glue and that system doesn't communicate the way that it's supposed to, which leads to a misfiring or miscommunication in how we are supposed to think, move, feel, and do. So, that being said, I want to share with you an advanced version of what we talked about on Tuesday when Lucas Grounds was here with me, because I've already worked with him today. In fact, he was with me for 3 hours today, and he was going to join me later today for this. We were going to have some fun, but he was so tired from doing the exercises and the body work that I did on him earlier that he just checked out, which is totally normal, totally expected. So I want to share my day with you on how I am using the LifePro products in order to change his life. Those of you who are not familiar with Lucas Grounds, he was on the series on Tuesday, and he is a 7-year national champion in racing, specifically dirt bike racing, professional athlete, already signed with sponsors, and was involved in a motorbike accident, not even racing. He just got out for a leisure ride with his mechanic and was on a bridge, a covered bridge that had a lot of sweating and a lot of different conditions that they weren't expecting. And he has wrecked dirt bikes going 60 miles plus an hour on a turn. And he laid this bike down going only 15, and he broke his back and is now in a wheelchair and paralyzed from the waist down. His goal is having the ability to walk in a year from now to being able to receive his high school diploma on stage without having to have a wheelchair. And so they hired me to start working with him a little over a month ago. And the first thing I did was started putting him on a vibration platform. And we also sent him home with some red light therapy devices. So he's been borrowing all of these different products to see how well it works for him before they invest in it. And it is changing his life. It's changing his mindset. It's changing his body's awareness of movement. His body is now firing without him having to tell his body to do it or making it do it. And this is what we've been able to accomplish in the last month, is more than he's been able to accomplish in several months in conservative rehab, like going to rehab 5 days a week. And he's seeing me 1 day a week for 3 hours at a time. And then he's seeing a couple other specialists 2 other days of the week. So he's got 2 days off so that his body can rest and recover. On the days that he's not in therapy and not working with me, he's using the Rumblex Plus at home, and he's also using the Aleva Red Therapy belt, as well as the Lumicare Light Therapy Torch. He, on the weekends, travels to different races from across the country, and right now he's already working on his race car to going back into racing like now. He's already like driving a midget on dirt tracks, and he's already raced a four-wheeler and came fourth overall on a 3.5-hour race course, not being able to use his legs when most everybody else is going to be using their legs to brace into the four-wheeler. He doesn't have control over his legs yet, but we are working on that. So what I want to share with you is what I did with him today using the LifePro products and why it matters, and how you can use the same creativity at home, whether you are paralyzed, whether you have fibromyalgia, whether you have MS, whether you've got Parkinson's, whatever it is you've got going on. Or maybe you're having a day like I'm having today, like ultra stressed out and just need to push the chill button. And my chill out button is my whole body vibration platform. So as long as I get on the platform when I'm really stressed out, it's like, now I can go float again, right? Float with greatness. So we're going to talk about that. As I left off before I had the breaker switch blow out on our Wi-Fi, was the different hormones that the medical community is trying to manage in hopes of being able to help out for us being the best version of ourselves possible. What I would like from you is, as I am sharing some of this information, many of you who are watching live from Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube might already have some of these different devices at home and are feeling fantastic as opposed to where you started before LifePro. That being said, I want to hear from all of you as to how you are experiencing changes mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically because you're using our products. I want to know which product you use, and I want to know how it's made a difference in your mental health. And you don't have to have a mental health condition in order to have to go seeking for a better you. You can just be having a bad day and have everything about you normal, and something throws you, some part of your day throws you a curveball or throws you an orange, and you're expecting a lemon. And, you have to find a way in order to be able to push the chill button. Like, how are you using products at home, or what have you noticed that is different that you didn't notice before you started using it? So that's what I want to hear from all of you. And as you are posting and sharing different scenarios that you have overcome, we're putting your name in a random drawing, and we are drawing for a whole body vibration platform and a horizon balance trainer, as you're going to see as to how I use these with Lucas. We in the medical profession world are looking at serotonin and norepinephrine as chemical messengers in the brain, as how they change how we think and how we feel and how we move and how we adjust. They're neurotransmitters, which means they are receiving information and they are connecting and sending it on out to the extremities or whatever part of your body it is that we're trying to communicate with. When we suffer from an injury, or when we suffer from autoimmune disease, or when we have an emotional instability or a disability for that matter, we can be completely normal and have challenges that present to us. Maybe, your best friend, you find out you're hearing about your best friend talking about you, and it crushes your heart because you think that they're your friend. The first thing that we do is we go into a panic or a fight and flight state, which means our norepinephrine is going through the roof, our cortisol levels are going through the roof, and our serotonin levels crash because we are uptight and we're stressed and we're trying to fight. And so our nerve levels become suppressed, and we can't function because we're truly caught up in our own mind. So why does that matter? Because vibration, the whole body vibration platform has the power to change how our serotonin and norepinephrine levels work, as well as stimulating the release of dopamine, oxytocin, and endorphins. And when we release those hormones, those chemicals in our brain naturally, it changes how our body carries tension and stress. So serotonin is responsible for improving our sleep abilities and gives us the sensation of mastery and accomplishment, but it also enhances our levels of pleasure and relaxation. The way that the medical world is trying to enhance serotonin in our brain is by providing a script of Prozac and Wellbutrin, among many other antidepressants. But not only that, if you cannot afford or you don't have insurance and you are using other options, then many of those options that are sought after for the improvement of how serotonin is released and how we feel is marijuana, cocaine, and ecstasy. As most of you know, we have a drug problem in this world. And so if there's a way that we can help people without having to rely on drug therapy, especially illegal drug therapy, why not give it a try? Because there's things we don't know because the brain is so complex. What I can tell you is the vibration platform has a very low level chance of causing harm. There are only a select category of individuals that it is contraindicated for using the whole body vibration platform. And you can refer back to the LifePro website to get very specific details on what is contraindicated. But the more important thing is, let's not worry about what we don't want to happen. Let's focus on what we want to happen, because if we think about what we want to happen, we attract that energy, and that's how we get to feel. And we actually have control over that. Norepinephrine is a stimulant as well as a neurotransmitter. It changes how our neurons work and how our hormone regulates. If we have low levels of norepinephrine, which is a stimulant, then we have low levels of energy and surging levels of depression and anxiety. I can tell you that majority of the clients that I work on, I'm known for instant pain relief. So many of our clients that come in check the anxiety box, check the depression box, check the I can't sleep box, and hello, all we need to do is put you on a platform. So every single person that I work with, when they walk in our door, they get on a platform before we do anything else for them, so that they get to feel how calming and how exciting and how happy the whole body vibration platform makes them, which then gives them hope that, oh my gosh, I'm here with Amber in her magic facility, and I actually have the ability to feel better because guess what? I already feel better because I'm on a platform. Woohoo! It's going to be a great day, right? Okay, so that's what I want to share with you. Now, Lucas, like I said, he was on day one of everything. Uh, and so what I want to share with you here is this is Lucas right here working, okay? And again, he does not have the ability to walk on his own. So we are using two, not one, but we are using two whole body vibration platforms in order to help stimulate, his muscle fibers to start firing, because that's one of the great benefits of the whole body vibration platform. So he is sitting on a Rumble X Pro, and I've got his legs propped up on a Rumble X Plus, which is flat. And I've laying mats underneath of his heels. Again, he doesn't have control over his legs, so his legs like clank on the edge of the platform. And so we have the ability to stimulate how his body is able to respond with these micro twitches. And if his brain has lost the ability to tell his body to actually contract the muscles, then he doesn't have the ability to walk because he can't get motor activation. So we are creating motor activation by using two platforms at the same time. And then from a safety standpoint, we are laying the Horizon balance trainer behind the Pro so that when he lays back, he can rest his back on the Horizon balance trainer, okay? And so you're gonna see how he turns this into a core workout, which is something that all of you can do, whether you have the products or not. So I'm gonna fast forward through this, and you're gonna see how he actually, you can see how I'm adjusting him here so that he can feel some different areas, and we're working on mobilizations at the same time. But now you should be able to see the blue dome behind him, and that's the Horizon balance trainer, which we're actually giving away today. Okay, and so I'm laughing with him because he's having fun. And I think one of the funniest things that happened that he was on the platform is he was so relaxed and having so much fun that he was actually farting. How many of you have farted on your platform? I do. It's okay if you do. Let's just laugh about it, because everybody laughs about something so simple, and most people might be embarrassed, but he was like, sorry. And I'm like, man, it's okay. Let's laugh about this. Let's have some fun. That means your body's receiving the information. This is good, right? So we go from there. And then I thought, okay, let's turn this into a core workout. So we have the Horizon balance trainer behind him, and we are doing a sit up. Once he gets comfortable and he's figuring out where he's located, he is going to end up in doing a sit up. There he's going back, he's laying back, he's feeling where everything's at. And then here he's going to try and, oh, he gets there, but he just can't quite get there. So I'm teaching him how to breathe so that he can actually do the full sit up. And we worked on endurance on doing a lot of these on two of these platforms at the same time. And of course, you can see I've got him barefoot. And then we start adjustments. And you can see here, these are shorter videos. You can see that I'm having to get more mats so that we can protect his legs, because in individuals who don't have good circulation to their extremities, they don't have the ability to feel the same levels of circulation, okay? And so as he's leaning back, he's going to struggle. And then we're going to teach him how to breathe so that he can explode forward. And then it helps him in being able to have the ability to sit up on his own. So here we go. And we're going to try and do a set of 5 of these. And we're actually going to be able to get to a set of 10. So he's an overachiever. He always does more than he's supposed to do, so that he has the ability to, get to where he wants to be with his goal set. So you'll see him here. We're doing that. And then you're going to see, whoops, let's go that way. I actually have to help him pull up because he's exhausted. His body is just not quite connecting the dots just yet, but we're working on it. And that's one of the big, big improvements that we're seeing, is that he's actually connecting the dots better. So yeah, so it was a lot of fun. And so we are now turning this into a seated dip. So he's lifting his butt up off the platform, which is forcing him to use his upper body. So he's turned this into an upper body core stabilization exercise. And there we go. Yep. And of course, like I said, I've already done a good 15 to 20 minutes of an exercise with him before all this. Okay. And then he's really excited. So he's giving us thumbs up. So that's just kind of, so, okay. So again, because he drives a race car, I'm wanting to simulate how he has to lean back and he's got to drive. But one thing that most people don't realize is that in order to drive a race car, you have to be able to understand vibration, because the race car vibrates and the steering wheel vibrates. And so we actually simulated this. And so I turned this Fit Fighter hose into it's a weighted object. So we're turning this into a steering wheel, and I'm forcing him to vibrate his upper body because he's on the platform, and he's having to stabilize this weight in front of his body so that he can simulate vibration from his fingertips to his toes, which actually gets him ready for driving a race car. And he's extremely exhausted from this exercise because I don't think he realized what he was coming in for until I said, hey, let's try this out, because that's what I'm all about. Let's trial and error. Let's just try some different things. And so we had fun with that. But then he's like, man, this is a lot heavier than I can handle. So I'm like, okay, let's try to create a different type of steering wheel. So we went from this recycled fire hose that actually shifts because of there's little steel shots that are in there, and they shift back and forth so you can get a really good grip on it. So then I made him carry this water-filled object in which he has to shake. So he's truly understanding what it feels to vibrate. And as I told him, I don't know if you guys have seen the new Top Gun movie, Top Gun Maverick, but I'm telling him, hey, you're Maverick in the front, and I'm the guy, I'm the wingman sitting behind you. I'm like looking for the traffic behind you and holding you up. So you're the driver here, and I'm just kind of following along our course. So it was really funny. So here I'm teaching him how to shaky, 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 and he's starting to get a little tired. So I'm like, shaky, shaky, wakey, wakey, let's wake up. And so I throw him back out there, and we turn this into a totally different exercise where he's having to engage in his abdominals, but all he's doing is just sitting there with his body on the platform vibrating, and he's leaning back, really making his abs start to fire, and he's shaking this weight that has water in it, and the weight of water shifts a lot. So it's a lot harder stimulating his abdominals to fire, and now he's actually having to work harder. So it's pretty wild. Good stuff. And here he is at the very end. He's like, yep, that's a good steering wheel. And so I'm actually commenting on, okay, Lucas Crumbs coming around the corner as all the other cars are wanting to pass. So we're trying to simulate this and having fun. So it's truly a lot of fun working with him today. And so we kind of celebrated by having some fun photos. But anyhow, I'm wanting to share that with you because, again, we're having to use some very different ideas as to how he's already done the traditional therapy model, and we're trying to change on how that affects his rehab. So I want to go through a couple of these research studies with you here in the next 10 minutes or so, and then we're going to give away an item. And then what I'm excited to share with you is, coming forward, I'm going to try and feature just some of the clients that I work with, having them coming in and sharing their experience with how we're using the LifePro products in their life and how it's changing their outcome, their mental capacity, their physical abilities, and what they're doing, how they're doing their exercises, so that you guys can get an idea of a variety of different ways that you can use the different LifePro products as compared to how you're seeing us using them in our different videos so far. So here is published in the Biomedical Journal of Scientific and Technical Research, and this article here was published back in 2018, and it talks about how $50 billion is spent between Americans and Europeans every year to help alleviate low back pain, and that the number continues to grow. But in addition to that, pharmaceutical drug prescriptions that are opiates and analgesics account for nearly 75% of all pharmaceutical overdose deaths. And so the idea is, what can we do to help that process, preventing getting hooked on narcotics or opiates, and how can we get the same response in the brain and that dopamine reaction without having to use a chemical substance. And so that's why, like I said, serotonin and dopamine are surging when you take in marijuana, cocaine, and ecstasy. And we're trying to avoid that. So how can we get the same outcome with with a more natural remedy? And the whole body vibration, according to this study, it works. So the end game of this study is that it improved cognitive performance of healthy individuals as well as those who are suffering from ADHD. And that for those who have urinary incontinence, that there's evidence that all of that can be improved with using the whole body vibration because it stimulates how the pelvic floor fires. That's how I personally got involved with LifePro. Was it actually jump started my pelvic floor after a total hysterectomy, and I didn't have control over those muscles, and I was suffering of excruciating low back and hip pain. But as we are looking for, we have a lot of different people who follow LifePro, and what we know is that depression is a major problem among the elderly. And when we think about the amount of exercise that we have to do in order to help with combating mental health, a lot of senior citizens and elderly don't have the capacity to exercise at the intensity that is required in order to release those happy hormones. But what we do know is that a whole body vibration device has equal antidepressant effects compared to cardiovascular exercise. And as a senior citizen or an elderly, you don't have to do the actual movement in order to get the release as if you were having to do the cardiovascular exercise. You just have to stand on the platform or get your legs on it. So great results there from that study. There's also, what we know with our children's population and our teen population is that ADHD is also associated with a decreased quality of life. And so for children and adults with ADHD experiencing problems with social interaction, which leads to social rejection and isolation and withdrawals, as well as discrimination, that we know, according to this research study, that whole body vibration can improve cognitive function, reducing stress, improving play factor and self-esteem, and ultimately improving the quality of life for any age group. And so depending on how we use the vibration platform in a variety of different settings, we are changing the elasticity of blood vessels. We are improving blood flow to the peripheral extremities. We're enhancing blood flow to the skin, which is one of our detox organs. We're stimulating lymphatic circulation, so we're enhancing our garbage disposal system. We're relieving pain and increasing the elasticity of how our muscles and our fascia shift, and then increasing muscle strength and flexibility, which supports metabolism and it overall improves mental health. So that is, like I said, that's the Biomedical Journal of Scientific and Technical Research. There is another article here that I spoke about, published on November 11th of 2021, about how vibration therapy may help people suffering of MS with their mind and body. And what it talks about, it was published in the International Journal of MS Care, that people who experienced vibration training who suffer of MS also showed improvements in decision making, information processing, attention, and memory, as well as being able to walk faster and an improved overall quality of life, both physically and mentally, after 3 days a week for a period of 6 weeks of using the whole body vibration platform. They also mention in here that it's also potentially useful in therapy for MS patients, stroke victims, people with spinal cord injuries, and other movement disorders, according to the Vice President of Research for the National MS Society. So when we look at the overall improvement, there was a 45% improvement of memory with those patients after performing whole body vibration platform or whole body vibration therapy. And then, but where the limiting factor is, it's been tested in MS patients who are using a walker or are limited to a crutch, but has barely been tested in those who are in a wheelchair. We're testing that with Lucas Grounds right now, but he doesn't have MS. But we do have a doctor, Dr. Walls, who was in a wheelchair, who has used our platform, and she is ambulating differently than what she was ambulating before when she was in her wheelchair. So, and again, you can go back and look at Georgia State University and the National MS Society, because they came up with the contribution for that article. When it comes to depression and anxiety, anxiety is the precursor for a lot of depression, and 20% of Americans suffer of depression annually. And it is a disease, and although it is a disease, it can be treated. But stress, anxiety, and depression are responsible for 80 to 90% of chronic health conditions. So if we don't have autoimmune disorders yet, it is stress and anxiety and depression that ultimately send us off the edge and lead us into, into the world of autoimmune disease. And so there are studies that have tested the therapeutic effect of and production of hormones and neurotransmitters with whole body vibration therapy, and they're showing that there's an initiation to increase the production of dopamine and serotonin levels for those who are experiencing, which automatically decrease all of those lovely stress levels and factors. So in general, those who use whole body vibration equipment who are suffering of depression have reported that they have an increased amount of personal motivation, but they also have lower levels of depression without the use of medication. And we talked about with Lucas the other day, some of the mechanical benefits of vibration therapy is physical strength, dexterity, endurance, balance and coordination improvements, reducing joint pain and inflammation, and improving pelvic floor function. And then, of course, increasing or speeding up recovery from surgery or trauma. He testified on Tuesday about how his thinking challenges have changed since using the platform. But not only that, all of his physical therapy sessions are improving drastically in the amount of stamina, his strength, and his ability to walk with his leg braces on, all since starting to use the vibration platform, which was is just right at a month ago. He's had it for a month. And so that's what I'm really wanting. That's what I wanted to share. Now, when it comes to mental and emotional benefits, this study mentions that it decreases stress levels. And anytime that we have, as you experienced with me earlier today, anytime that we suffer of increase in stress loads to our mind and to our body, automatically, if we have an increase in stress, we automatically are releasing cortisol and epinephrine, which are our stress hormones that regulate our fight or flight system. Through these chemicals, through the immune system out of balance, destroy brain cells by the millions, okay? And so the lowering of cortisol and epinephrine secretion changes by up to 30% through the use of whole body vibration. And in doing that, that also increases the circulatory effects as a counteracting of the stress on the body as well as the spirit. So that's awesome, just absolutely amazing that we have the power to change how our body works just by doing what we can do at home on a platform. Let's see here. I also talked about, I've got one more study here I want to share with you right quick. And it is, this one, the studies have not come to a conclusion yet. It is, let's see here. They had a total of 53 healthy young men who participated that did 3 days a week on whole body vibration for 12 weeks. And it talks about the depression effects of more than 340 million people in the entire world. And what they are finding so far is that, okay, so they did complete the results of this one. So it's not in motion. It is just, it's been completed. But as a result of the 12-week whole body vibration training, had a significant effect on depression level scores. And what they noticed is that depression scores decreased. So what they're saying is that whole body vibration training contributes in a positive way to lowering depression levels. But they're still working on the limits to that study just because of outside factors and making sure that the outside controls are accounted for. That's one of the greatest challenges when we're hosting a clinical studies, making sure that other factors outside the study don't tamper with the results. Let's see here. And I think that was the most there that I wanted to share. So, okay, here is vibration therapy. And this was the fascinating science behind vibration therapy in the brain. And this specifically speaks towards Parkinson's patients. So using whole body vibration, they noticed that there was an improved quality of life in several ways, in that vibration lessens pain and reduces tremors. And according to a study at Florida State University College of Medicine, it also soothes stiffness and increases dopamine levels in the brain, which is one of the primary deficiencies that causes Parkinson's symptoms and disease to begin with. So some of the other physiological treatments associated with vibration therapy: increasing the blood flow benefit, which boosts your energy levels and increases your metabolism, but also flushes out the toxins that cause to depression. Vibration therapy also is known to treat pain by vibration therapy is also known to treat pain by disrupting pain signals into the brain, as well as treating soft tissue injuries and breaking down scar tissue, as I've talked about for several years now. And a 2018 Dutch study on mice and humans both found improvements in perceived pain levels and improved cognition from using vibration therapy. And then let's see here. There's also a study that was conducted by Holos University in Kansas, showing that 57% of pre-study depression, there was a 50% improvement in symptoms from those who claimed that they suffered from depression before the study. After regular use of whole body vibration therapy, 88% of depressed patients no longer reported of any depression symptoms. And then furthermore, the study showed 71% of total study participants had increased levels of DHEA, which is a positive hormone that your body naturally produces. And that was all as a result of the vibration therapy treatments. So that was a mouthful, right? All right, guys. So I want to know, how has life changed for you? How has your mindset changed? How has your mental capacity changed? How has how you can handle stress changed as a result of whole body vibration, or massage vibration from our foot massagers, or massage from our massage therapy guns, or red light therapy, or maybe just experiencing the community that we have as we are having these wonderful open-ended conversations, to making you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not different or abnormal because I feel this way. There are a lot of people that feel this way. That in itself gives us great energy to feel wonderful, so that we don't feel like we're alone, in that we are suffering from good days and bad days. On the days that you can't take lemons and make lemonade, you just got to crush the lemon, right? But there's some days we just don't have it. And I have those days too. Today's kind of been one of those challenging days. It's been a challenging 48, 72 hours, just life throwing curveballs, and 98 degrees in the Midwest does not help. But nonetheless, it is what it is. So I'm excited to see all of you here. I'm excited to see all these wonderful things. I'm seeing Joy posting that sleep has improved tremendously, which is much needed. I'm seeing that every single part of LifePro Fitness has been a positive part of my life. I'm seeing Rumblex has helped me get my energy back after COVID. Yes, awesome. Funny thing. So the year of 2020, when COVID hit, I actually caught my first round of it after videoing all the commercials for LifePro in my house, in this very room right here. And our filming crew brought it in. And I have suffered pneumonia, full-blown pneumonia before. And I ended up with the pneumonia after that, as well as testing positive for COVID, and just felt absolutely miserable. I didn't get on a platform. I didn't do anything because I wasn't quite sure how that was going to play out. But I will tell you, it took me a couple of weeks to recover from that. And then when I had COVID the second time, I was only in bed for a day. And then I was right back to my platform doing my thing. And it was like it never even happened. And so it really does make a difference whether you've had COVID, you haven't had COVID, you're currently suffering of COVID, even on a super low level, the faster we can detox our body, the better. And so, Tammy, thank you so much for posting that, because I do really appreciate the group meetings too. And I learned from all of you, just as I'm learning through my own journey and through the research. I'm loving reading all these wonderful comments as to how everybody is doing. Okay, now it is about time to share our first winner, and you will be winning one of our whole body vibration platforms. So as I share who our winner is, once you hear your name, if you could send me your information, or if you are on Facebook watching this and you can send it via Messenger to LifePro. Either way, I've got the backstage crew behind me right now. So if you want to text me your first and last name spelling, your shipping address, and any other pertinent information that we need to be aware of, your email address would be great. That would be good. And then I will make sure that our LifePro team gets that information so that you can receive your giveaway prize here within the week. You can text your information to 317-446-7971. And I'm waiting right now for the magic prize winner. Let's see who it's going to be as it's coming in, because I don't get to choose the winner. It's all behind the scenes. And I'm seeing winner number 1 coming up. Here we go. Oh, I haven't mentioned it yet. Here they come. Okay. I'm totally going to butcher this name. I am so sorry if I butcher this name, but, oh, I'm sorry. This is for the Horizon. The winner number 1 is getting to take home the Horizon, which is the blue balance trainer dome that you see in the videos that I've shown you. And I'm going to say Izzy Prenenda. Again, I probably totally butchered that name. ISY, Izzy or Izzy, and then the last name Pruneda. Prenenda, maybe? Not sure, but either way, if you could text me your information so that we can ship you your Horizon balance trainer, I would love to hear from you. Again, you can text me directly, 317-446-7971, and I will send your information to Joel at LifePro so that he can ship you a free Horizon balance trainer. Super excited for you. Okay, and then for a vibration platform, surprise, surprise, you'll see what you get when it arrives. Number 2 is Sissy Lambert. Say that 10 times in a row. Cissy Lambert, Lambert. You're getting a vibration platform so that you can vibrate your sorrows away, girl. So Cissy. I hope you're a girl. If not, great name either way. But either way, winner number 1, Izzy or Izzy. Winner number 2 is Sissy. And if you could text me your information, 317-446-7971, and we will get the information to you back at the LifePro headquarters so that you can get your device delivered immediately. I want to say thank you all so much for watching. We've got more and more lives coming up, so stay tuned for the announcements as to when these are going to be airing. They are trying to educate and share the energy across all of you as often as we can. Love it, love it, love it. I love the name Sissy. That's actually my aunt's name. So it's a great name for beautiful, beautiful people. But anyhow, these 1 to 200 billion neurons have got to get continuing on to healing others in the magic world at my facility. So I hope you guys have the most magical day ever. And whether it is 90 blazing hot degrees in your area, or whether you are walking through the cold weather, or you are soaking your toes in the Pacific Ocean where it's nice and chilled, wherever you may be, I hope that life brings you greatness and contagiasm energy, and that you find the magic in wherever that you're at, and you enjoy the happiness that is around you in any way that you can, whether you have a vibration platform or not. It is a choice to be happy, and you have the options to making yourself happy in a variety of different ways. So thank you all so much for sharing your energy and your happiness with me today. I look forward to seeing you again next week. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy Father's Day, everybody.